So today we're talking about heart rate training and rating of perceived exertion training, or RPE. And are you running by data or running by feel? Are you running using zone systems or are you running using the Borg scale? How's it going, runners? My name is Justin Thompson. I'm your average running PT, and I help the average runner achieve their own personal elite status. If that's something you guys are into, you can go ahead and hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you know when the next video comes out. So that's right, we're talking about heart rate training versus RPE, or rating of perceived exertion. So basically, are you running by the data that's coming in based on the heart rate that you're running, or are you running based entirely on feel? So with heart rate training, you're using a heart rate monitor in order to keep your heart rate in a certain range so that you can achieve a certain physiological benefit. So whether you're using a zone system or MAF training, the reason for using a heart rate monitor is to keep your heart rate within a certain range so that you are achieving the physiological benefit that you actually want. Now with RPE, or rating of perceived exertion, we're trying to put an objective measure on a very subjective data point. So what does that mean? RPE is based entirely on feel and not necessarily on what's actually going on physiologically in your body. So the question then is, are you running by data or by feel? So go ahead and leave a comment down below. If you are running using a heart rate monitor or by some other kind of data point, then go ahead and write data in the comments. Or if you just like to head out there, run by feel, then go ahead and write feel in the comments. And I just want to know what most of us average runners are doing out there. Now there are some positives and negatives to both sides, and I'll give you guys kind of my thoughts on why I do what I do. Now obviously there's some things you got to know about each one. The heart rate training, you need a heart rate monitor which is accurate. Otherwise the data is totally worthless. And there's different heart rate monitors out there, So basically what I've kind of noticed is the closer that you get to the heart with these heart rate monitors, the more accurate they are. So there's wrist straps, there's arm straps, there's chest straps. And what I've noticed is that getting closer to the heart and using chest straps tends to give you the most accurate results. However, I've found that I get pretty good results with my wrist strap on my Garmin. Now this might be different for somebody else because the anatomy of their arm may be a little bit different, or the anatomy of their wrist may be different, so it depends on what works for you. Now that piece of equipment, that heart rate monitor, needs to be easy to use as well. So if you're tech savvy and you use a Garmin, then great. If I were to give a Garmin to my mom, she would have no idea what in the world to do with it. So making sure that you can use your heart rate monitor is obviously step number one. Now for some, having a heart rate monitor might distract you from the joy of running, and that's a real thing. And that's one reason I went so long without doing any sort of heart rate training, is because I felt like I just wanted to get out there and run for the fun of it. Now with heart rate training, there's different methods you can use. There's zone training, there's MAF training, and the zones, they tend to have some kind of mathematical stuff that you need to figure out and figure out your zones that way. With MAF, it's really simple, 180 minus your age, plus or minus a few beats depending on where you're at with your health and your training. Now for RPE, there's a couple of different scales that people use. There's the 6 to 20 scale, which I'll try and put right in here. Very complicated looking scale and really hard to take with you on a run and know exactly what you're doing. A 0 to 10 scale is another one that people use that's a little bit easier to follow and kind of intuitively think about. Where basically 0 is you're at total rest and you're being a couch potato, and 10 is you're literally about to give out in the next 5 to 10 seconds. So here's the thing. I use heart rate training, and here's why. So I know that my RPE and my heart rate training, they never match up. And here's what I mean by this. So when I go for an easy run and I'm not looking at my heart rate, my pace will start anywhere from 1 to 2 minutes faster than what it should for that easy run day. So for example, if my MAF training number is 148 beats a minute and that lands me at somewhere around 10 minutes per mile, then it's very, very likely that I am going to go out way too fast if I'm not looking at my heart rate, and probably start off at like 8:30 per mile or 9 minutes. And that's just way too fast for the physiological benefit that I'm trying to achieve with that easy run. So if I'm going based on my RPE, I really need to dial it all the way back to almost a 1 out of 10. While somebody else may need to start at somewhere around 3 or 4 out of 10. And this is because my RPE might be a little bit skewed by the fact that I have played so many competitive sports throughout my life. Things like soccer, basketball, football, these are sports that require you to go really hard for short periods of time. So I've never really dialed in what is my easy run day. So for me, having a heart rate monitor to tell me what that rate is extremely valuable to me. So for you, it might be the same way. Your RPE might be skewed because of your exercise history and your no pain, no gain kind of mentality that you had for many years of exercising. So I use heart rate training because it gives me a real-time feedback as to what's going on in my body physiologically. And the physiology is what I'm actually trying to change. Now, if I'm going for some harder running, like some speed work on the track, I'm going to be way less concerned about my heart rate and much more concerned about my RPE and just kind of keeping everything under control so that I can complete that workout. Now, of course, there are some days where I don't want to even bother with looking at my heart rate monitor. I definitely don't want to be looking at it every 30 seconds to ensure that I'm staying on track. And I would much rather just go out and run for the fun of it. So every now and then I throw heart rate training out the window and I just go out and run for fun. Now that's not to say that MAF isn't fun. I've really enjoyed running using MAF training because of the reduced aches and pains and the excitement that I have for every run to step out there and go and put in a little bit of work. So give me some feedback on this video. Leave a comment down below and hit that thumbs up button because YouTube likes that kind of thing and they'll start to put it out in front of more people just like you. So that's all I've got for today, guys. Head on out there, seek your elite. God bless, and I'll see you next time.